Are you here by any chance? Oh, okay, we're live on YouTube. Hi everyone, this is Ramanuj from 𝗀𝗁𝗀. Let me rename this. All right, welcome. I'm doing a webinar after some time, so good to be back with all of you. So, how are you guys doing? Who all are with me today? Please introduce yourselves quickly in the chat. The chat is open for all of you. Please introduce yourselves quickly. And I have a request, given how few people are here today, would you just share a message on your respective, one second, respective groups, maybe, I mean, just invite, just maybe put it on your social media or something so that more people can join us. I'm going to talk about some really amazing things today, right? So pros and cons of setting up offshore companies for digital businesses. So so what do you guys do? Can you introduce yourselves quickly? I see 𝗀𝗃𝗁𝗀 is here. I know 𝗀𝗃𝗁𝗀. You are from Zambia, right? Tax havens, right? This is a very I would say like sort of a highly debated topic, right? People, I mean, newspapers and reporters write really bad things about tax havens, and there's, before election, people talk a lot about how people are cheating, and how, like, what is going on and so on. There's a lot of chatter about how tax havens are really bad, and people are cheating and stuff like that. So, but actually, tax havens are, I mean, there are illegal things people do with tax havens, but it is not necessary that it is illegal. A lot of tax havens and people, it's basically people choosing to do business in jurisdictions which are lower tax. Even Google does it. So you guys might be knowing that, Google's and Facebook's and Apple's international headquarters are in Ireland, for example, right? So that is because of low corporate taxes. It is not because Google wants to do something illegal, or not that is anything illegal under current laws. So I'm going to talk. So definitely, as you can understand, tax havens are something that is pretty much legitimate business. I'm not going to talk about any illegal stuff, or, I mean, what is illegal is illegal. We are lawyers. We are here to talk about what are the legal stuff, right? So I'm assuming that the people who are here, they have honorable intentions, and you want to know what can be done legally. And I'm not going to, anyway, I don't even know how to do the illegal stuff, but I'm going to tell you the legal stuff. Maybe I can tell you how some people do sometimes. If I know, I'll tell you the illegal stuff that also goes on. I'm going to talk about that a little bit at some point. But the focus is on digital businesses which legitimately want to operate from business jurisdictions with lower taxes, and they have legitimate reasons for doing so, and justifiable, and this is very much possible. So what is a tax haven? So any of you know what is a tax haven? Can somebody quickly tell me? Tell me in the chat whatever you know about tax havens. Okay, some people are watching this on YouTube as well. That's very nice. You guys, I'm also keeping an eye on the YouTube chat. So if you have any questions, those who are watching this on YouTube, feel free to post your questions on YouTube chat. I'll be answering questions, right? So don't worry about that. All right, super. So anybody wants to tell me what you think is a tax haven? So I'll tell you what tax haven is a place where foreigners may receive income or own assets without paying high rates of tax upon them, right? So they are trying to run off businesses which are sometimes shell companies, sometimes companies having actual operations also, that you are trying to receive your income there. You might know about the Vodafone tax case that happened in India, and Vodafone won that case, by the way. Indian government lost it, even in Indian courts, right? So courts found it to be absolutely legitimate. There was a case where uh, Vodafone India, the entire business, like Vodafone bought it from a company called Hutch, from what I remember. And what happened is that there's a guy who's disturbing the session. 𝗱𝗏𝗀 is requesting remote control of my system. Why 𝗱𝗏? What is the reason you want remote control of my system? You don't need it, okay? So calm down, just attend the session. Okay, so tax haven is a place. So basically these are so I was talking about the Vodafone case, right? So what happened in the Vodafone case was that there for some strange reason I got dropped off from the session. I apologize. Let me share my screen once more. All right. So I was giving you an example of the Vodafone case, where you must have heard about this. How many of you have heard of the Vodafone case? Have you heard of the Vodafone case? Anyone? Okay, so in the Vodafone case, what happened? There was a large tax claim. What happened is that essentially there was this sale of the Hutch Telecom Corporation. They sold it to Vodafone. Vodafone is a UK company. Somebody take. What is going on? Why is somebody disturbing the session? I can't understand. Anyway, I'm not going to give anyone any control, so please don't keep trying this. Okay. Keep this on so that I can see who's trying to do some mischief over here. Okay, so Vodafone was trying to save on corporate gains taxes, which is in form of income tax, right? So they were trying to save on that. How? Basically, they were the holding. Clearly, somebody is like quite determined to disturb today's session. Just give me a moment, guys. Let me set up a few things. Don't allow anybody to unmute. Okay, I apologize again. It should be fine now. Nobody can unmute themselves. So high rates of tax upon them, right? So what happened is that so Vodafone tried to save on corporate gains taxes. So they did not buy the Indian company, a holding company. Oh no, I have to do something. Just give me a moment. I'll get somebody to join in and help me. All right, I have logged the session, so it should be fine now. Nobody should be able to disturb. I'll also enable waiting room, so I will know what is going on. Yeah, I think it should be fine. All right, so sorry for the disturbance, I can guess who would be doing such things, but well, let it be. So tax haven is a place where foreigners may receive income and own assets without paying high rates. And I was giving you an example how Vodafone did that. And after Vodafone did that, Indian tax department failed. Oh no, what's happening again? Annotation has to be, anybody knows how to switch off annotation? I just need to switch off annotation basically. So anyway, I will just continue, and I will have someone join in to help. So where I was, right? So there was Vodafone was trying to do this, and government made a tax demand on them, right? So when government made a tax demand and it was contested by Vodafone, it went to the matter went to the court, right? And from there, obviously, there was a entire problem that the matter went on for a while, but eventually Vodafone won, and it was proven that whatever method they used for tax planning was correct, and they were vindicated, and they won the matter. There were such other matters that have also happened. For example, from Cairns Energy, there's a matter where they have made this claim, and this has been going on, right? So and this is definitely very, very interesting matter, and so usage of tax havens have been also upheld by the Supreme Court India in some cases, as long as it is done following the international law and all the treaties and all the the local laws also they also matter. So as long as there are no laws to make that particular act illegal, it is presumed to be illegal unless there is some illegality in the law that says a certain thing is illegal. It is legal. So exactly for this reason, there is tax havens can be used in a legal manner. Okay. So in some places, it's sure, like, there are two kind of scenarios. In one scenario, people are able to pay lower taxes. In some cases, they are able to avoid taxes altogether. Oh, I found annotation. Nice. Disable that India annotation. Okay, now it should not be a problem. Okay, I have found the solution. So I don't think people will be able to annotate now. So in some havens, the tax relief that foreigners enjoy, right, stems from absence of cheap forms of direct taxation like income tax, estate tax, gift tax, wealth tax may not be there, right? So in those tax havens are of the nature that they don't, they have very low tax or no tax at all in many cases. For example, Dubai is a place where there is no income tax. Qatar has no income tax. Bahrain has no income tax. In Singapore, the income tax is only 10%, whereas in India it can be 30% and more, 40% in case of corporates. For foreign companies can be paying 40% tax, right? So in many countries, the relief stems from special features of the tax system that result in a very low effective tax rate on certain forms of foreign investment, right? Some countries that enjoy a reputation of tax havens have cultivated it. They want it to be a tax haven. Now you may wonder why somebody would want to be a tax haven. Simple reason that being a tax haven might result in a higher investment in the country. To give you an example, many of the tax havens actually have disproportionate amount of assets in their country, financial assets, right? And this can be obviously countries want foreign capital to come into their country, developing countries especially, right? So this is a very common thing. But there are countries which do not want to be called tax havens. They are actually worried about it. They do not consider it to be a good thing. They might find it offensive if somebody is calling them a tax haven. Okay, so and sometimes they are not a tax haven intentionally, but they have a good, maybe they have a very good legal system, very good, very low taxes, and they have strict territoriality in applying income taxation. For these reasons also, many times people choose to park their money or set up their businesses in those countries. A good example will be Netherlands. Even the US, in some cases, people prefer to set up a business in the United States because of certain business friendly tax laws sometimes, and those might change in the future, we don't know, right? But many foreign countries sometimes set up businesses in the US for that reason, and they might be putting through disproportionate amount of their global revenues, they might be parking in that country, right? Such countries are likely to consider, I mean, there are countries which consider the tax haven level derogatory, but they are attractive anyway. So it doesn't matter whether they call themselves a tax haven or not. What is important is that are they attractive for the tax structuring purpose for international businesses, right? And do they serve a purpose of tax saving for international businesses, right? So the one second. Okay, a good example of of this is Mauritius. For decades, most of the FDI was routed in India, like whatever FDI used to come in, it was routed through Mauritius, right? And it helped those companies which are investing in India through Mauritius to avoid income taxes. So a lot of US investment primarily was coming through Mauritius. Even other countries were investing through Mauritius. Why? Because Mauritius and India had a bilateral treaty, a double taxation avoidance treaty, right? Which had certain provisions which allowed people to avoid paying taxes in India. And because of that, 70% of India's FDI was coming through Mauritius at one point, and a lot of it was also coming through Singapore. But then, government of India felt that we are losing a lot of taxes for this reason, and renegotiated those treaties both with Singapore and Mauritius. Now nobody channelizes any money from FDI from Mauritius anymore. So if you look at 2020, 2019, you will not see money FDI coming through Mauritius anymore. Through Singapore, is it not coming? Still coming, but less than before. Okay, now Singapore is, I think, the top destination from top source of FDI coming into India, apart from US, UK, Hong Kong, etc. Right? So the same thing happened to famous Singapore route, that government renegotiated everything so that it does not happen anymore. Like the double tax, the tax avoidance opportunity is not there anymore. So the amount of business activity carried out in tax havens is considerable, right? Although exact figures are not available, but it is like a certain percentage of entire global GDP, right? It is estimated that some 11% of global GDP is in tax havens. So that's a lot of money. In case of India, in 2015, a report came out where it was said that around 3% of our GDP is stashed away in foreign offshore such tax havens and other foreign jurisdiction. I'm going to share more data on that later on. I'm going to talk about it also a little bit, but that's later on, right? So it appears that the use of tax havens by enterprises in high tax countries, particularly in multinational enterprises, is growing. And I'm going to tell you why it is growing. So India is a high tax country, right? So like I said, that especially from high tax countries, this tax haven, and offshoring of businesses is growing. So India is definitely also facing this. India is a very high tax country. Okay, so are the US and most European Union countries. So new president Joe Biden of USA, right? So he's expected to increase taxes on US citizens as well as businesses, right? So chances are high that more businesses will flock to tax havens, right? As per Morgan Stanley, report in 2018, $23,000 millionaires left India, right? $23,000 millionaires simply got out of India between 2014 and 2017. In 2019, they released another report saying that in 2018 alone, $6,000 millionaires left India. Imagine, that's a very huge number of dollar millionaire means somebody who $1 million in dollars is 7.5 crores. Somebody whose net worth is more than 7.5 crores. So that many people are leaving India every year, right? In 2020, the report did not come out, so we don't know, because there was a pandemic and all, no reports were released. So where are all these people headed? Like, all these people who are tens of thousands of people living in India, who are millionaires, right? So where are they headed? So most of them are going to live in countries like US, Canada, United Kingdom. Of course, that is where they are going to live. That is what the reports also say. But what they do not say, and it is obvious that a lot of them, while they are going to live in a country like, let's say, US, they are not taking all their wealth to US. It wouldn't make sense. So what they are doing is that they're parking their wealth in places like Dubai, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Bahamas, and various Caribbean tax havens, and also in closer home to Asian tax havens. I'm going to give you the names of those tax havens shortly. Okay. So the same thing is happening with digital businesses that are expanding internationally, right? So imagine that you are selling software to Indians, right? So you're an Indian business, you're making software in India, selling software in India, your customer service is happening from India, or your offices are in India, and you are paying Indian tax. You really don't have any option there, right? But the alternative, what if you are going to do business outside India, right? So is it necessary for you to pay taxes to Indian government? You can plan it in a certain way, and I'm going to tell you what they are doing and how it is done. What is fueling the tax haven trend in 2021? So as of today, I'll tell you, there are a certain trends, certain things are happening that is making this tax haven trend very strong, and more people are going to move out of high tax jurisdictions to low tax jurisdiction. Not only in India, this is happening in the US, this is happening in Europe, and it's happening even within 2 states of US. Like, people are moving out from New York and California to Florida and Texas. I'm going to tell you how these things are happening, right? So what are the trends that are fueling this tax tourism, or you can say, or tax, there's a tax outflow from certain jurisdictions to other jurisdictions, right? Remote work is one huge thing. So imagine that if you can work from anywhere in the world, like, for example, I am in Ukraine right now. Although all my money is parked in India, all my income is India, I don't have any international income. But just saying hypothetically that since I am outside India, and you know that for somebody to be a tax resident, they have to live at least 180 days in India. So if I don't live in India, then I am not a tax resident in India. Then my income may not be taxable in India. This is possible, although I have no intention of, I am not going to live outside India for too long, but I'm just giving you an example. Now, remote work means that people can do this. Anybody can do this, right? So they can be living in another country. Of course, if I'm making the income in India and all the work is, the tax department say, no, your work is happening in India. So although you are outside India, you have to pay tax in India. There may be such demands, but there you have to understand that digital businesses are very different than so see, if somebody is running a manufacturing company or a shop in India, retail shop in India, they cannot move out of India to do business in another country. This is how the tax system is built, to cater to those people. But suddenly, because of remote work, it is, even I did not know in 2020 that I could go to another country and work from there and my business will run fine, right? But today I'm able to do this, and many other entrepreneurs are also able to do this. They are able to go outside the country and do it. People who are selling software, people who are doing e-commerce business, people who are providing digital marketing services, people who are running a digital media company, they are extremely flexible, right? You can do this business from anywhere in the world. So high rates of, another thing that is fueling people to move out of India, high rates of GST and income tax in India compared to other countries Many Indian businesses cater to foreign businesses and customers, especially in the IT sector, in digital business sector. Many people are not just catering to India and Indian customers or Indian companies for that matter. They might be catering to US companies or Asian Chinese companies or whatever, wherever outside India. So why would they want to pay very high taxes for doing business from India? Neither they need to do business from India, nor they have to do it. They can think that, okay, can I set my business up in another place, in another country, where I can do the same business and the same activities and not pay 18% GST or not pay 30% income tax, right? So this is possible and this is happening. Workforces and digital businesses are incredibly mobile today. Just to give you an example, if people are not feeling comfortable in California or in New York, for example, in New York, the office rent has gone down to what it was in 1990s. Okay, so the rent in New York, the rent of office place was sky high. Okay, like somewhat like Mumbai in India. But even in Mumbai, the rent of residential houses have fallen and offices have also fallen. In Delhi also, the rent is falling. Rent of houses are falling. Rent of residential houses and office places are falling. Why? Because people are mobile. They don't have to be located in a very costly place. So for example, this has been anyway happening. How many of you know that a lot of law firms have been moving out of, say, central Delhi and Connaught Place in Delhi and moving to Noida, moving from South Delhi to Gurgaon or Noida, where office rents are cheaper, or there may be some other benefits also, but primarily cheaper real estate. So people have moved out for that. People can surely move out so that they have to pay lower taxes, and this is happening for digital businesses. A law firm cannot possibly move out of Delhi. They still need physical presence in Delhi. But if it is a software business and all their customers are located outside outside of India, then they have no reason why they have to sit in India necessarily, and they can move out, and they are moving out. That is the data showing. And not only now, 2021 is an outlier year. This was already happening in 2016, 17, 18, 19. This is pre-remote work. People who are not as used to doing remote work. Now there is a complete game change in terms of how flexible businesses are to move out. So if you're working remotely, you essentially can pick and choose which country you want to work from. The entire world is open to you. Whoever is most hospitable in terms of facilities, in terms of visa, in terms of taxation, you can simply move there and do your entire business from there. So businesses moved out rapidly from California and New York and moved to Florida and Texas in unprecedented numbers during the pandemic. Okay, primarily because they realized they can do it remote work. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be in Silicon Valley to run a software business or in New York to run a finance business or whatever. So people moved out. Businesses can easily move from high tax jurisdictions to low tax ones. Certain businesses, not all businesses. This is for digital businesses, right? They can easily move from high tax jurisdictions to low tax ones, including to tax havens. What are some well-known tax havens around the world? Let me tell you about the tax havens that are there around the world. The world's topmost tax haven is British Virgin Islands. By the way, these tax havens do not work like this, that the same tax haven will work for everyone. It's not like that. Okay, many tax havens are, they are good for only certain countries. Some tax havens are good for USA. Some tax havens are good for European countries. Some tax havens are good for Asian countries, Southeast Asian countries, Chinese countries, right? So Chinese companies, right? So it depends on where, it's not like that all tax havens are made equal. So here are some tax havens that are considered the biggest tax havens in the world: British Virgin Islands, Taiwan, Jersey. Jersey is not even a country, right? It is a territory under British control, and it is in the English Channel between France and England. And Jersey has been one of the biggest tax havens. Even Indian government raised a request from Jersey to submit details of Indians holding money in Jersey, and they shared it. By the way, these are countries, it's not like they will share no information. They share certain information that is available with them to an extent according to their laws. Many of these countries have had negotiations with European Union, or jurisdictions they had negotiation with European Union or IMF and so on, and they have come up with certain solutions so that which is acceptable to everyone. So it is okay with their legal system also, and others also. So these negotiations always go on. Bermuda, Cayman Islands, Samoa, Liechtenstein, which is in Europe, Curacao, Malta, Luxembourg, Cyprus, Seychelles. So these are some of the famous tax havens around the world. Okay. Preferred tax havens for Indians. So the last time this data was available was in 2015. This data came out, and I have that data only. After that, I couldn't find any latest data after that is available from anywhere. Between 2007 and 2015, estimated 4 lakh crores, okay, has been stashed in tax havens by Indians. Okay, that's about 3.1% of India's GDP in 2015 terms. Now the GDP has increased, but the amount of money might have also increased. Over 53% of this wealth was held. People think generally it must be in Switzerland or Caribbean island, in Bahamas or something. Panama, right? In Panama paper, a lot of Indians' names came up. But over 53% of this Indian wealth is held closer home in Asian tax havens like Hong Kong, Macau, Singapore, Bahrain, Malaysia, etc. Okay, you can see that some of these are not even considered tax havens generally, but if they have lower tax, like I gave the definition in the beginning, they have significantly lower taxes, and people are buying properties, starting businesses, stashing money, creating trusts to hold money there in those countries, because it doesn't have to be there zero tax. Even if it is lower tax, or in certain cases they have better laws. I'll give you an example. A lot of Indian Muslims, for example, who are very rich, they have a concern that if their money is in India and they want to, let's say, adopt a son, right, or adopt someone, adopt a daughter, son, whatever, or they want to will away their property, this cannot be done because the Muslim law does not allow that. Muslim law has certain restrictions on how much of your property you can give away through a will, or whether you can adopt someone and whether they'll be eligible for inheritance and so on, right? But you can decide that I will not be subject to Indian laws, so my inheritance will be parked or managed in a jurisdiction. Like certain jurisdictions have actually, because of this Muslim law around the world, certain tax havens have a special law that attracts Muslim HNIs, or high net worth individuals who want to have a tax residency and their property held over there, so that after their death their wish will be fulfilled and their will be respected, and not not the Muslim law won't apply over there. This is one reason some people choose tax haven. So it's not only to avoid taxes, but sometimes it is also to pay, and most frequently, honestly, to pay lower taxes. While media reports are very unkind to tax havens and people stashing their money in tax havens, it is likely that such offshore wealth was accumulated through legal means. Okay, it's not illegal proceeds of crime or proceeds of corruption or tax evasion. It's not necessary, right? So, for example, let's say I am an Indian entrepreneur. I am selling software in some other country. I might want that some of that money, instead of bringing back to India, I am putting it into Malaysia or in some other country, right? It is my choice and it is my money. I should have that much autonomy on such a thing, and it's not like it is illegal, right? Of course, if Indian government can demand that if I am having certain ownership on certain money, I have to disclose it here in India. Otherwise, it is a violation. But a lot of people are declaring that I have money over there in that country, but it is not my income in India, or I am not even a resident in India. So you can't ask me to pay taxes on my international income, or so on. There may be such reasons, right? People have their tax lawyers and they figure out how to do that. And a lot of it is perfectly legal and not illegal. That is why, despite a lot of political, shouting and discussions and people saying this and that, such money could not be brought back to India by the government, right? Because if it was, then they could bring it. It's not just, that some bad people are doing bad things. A lot of times it is genuine money held by genuine people following the laws. They have paid taxes and then put the money there. Then what can you say and what can you do about that, right? So what are the typical key features of offshore tax havens, right? They have friendly tax laws which enable individuals and or companies to minimize or eliminate their tax liability. They allow foreign citizens to uh, register offshore companies which are given preferential tax treatment and are not subjected to local corporate or corporate income taxes or GST or whatever. They offer a higher degree of privacy in that the details of corporate ownership or offshore companies are not publicly available. This is true for only few places. Okay, like it's not true. I mean, there are some genuine tax havens. They want to promote themselves as tax havens. They do it, but this is less and less available, right? Basically, the governments have come together through IMF and WTO and other channels, and they have come to this conclusion that this privacy business can be allowed only to an extent. It cannot be allowed beyond a point, right? So, and it is still open to negotiation. There are negotiations going on, but you can assume that this privacy business will not work very well. So people will come to know. So you might as well do it following the laws and not illegally. They have fewer tax information exchange agreements, right, in place. They are completely illegal, completely legal despite the negative publicity which they have received in the past. So this is few things. How does this work? The best way to access the benefits of an offshore tax haven is to register a corporate entity or other type of financial vehicle within the jurisdiction. So other type usually trusts. The most common corporate vehicles to use are either an offshore company or an offshore trust. These two structures have different features that suit different requirements. An offshore company is usually most suitable for those who wish to use their offshore tax haven as a part of their business operations to minimize corporate taxation. Offshore trusts are usually used by individuals who intend to use the jurisdiction as a safe haven to protect their personal assets from exorbitant taxes or for any other reason in their home country. Offshore asset protection trusts are widely used for their estate planning benefits, unparalleled asset protection, tax reductions, and a high degree of confidentiality. Like I said, confidentiality is going down in most places. So let me give you an example of how somebody may legally want to do it. Let's say you are selling software from India to foreign countries. You might have some business in India which you don't want to shift from India. There's some business which is, there's no point. If you're selling to Indians, you'll have to pay Indian taxes. But let's say you are, a lot of your business is not even coming from India, right? But you pay GST on what you sell. Usually you pay income tax on, if all the money is coming to India from all your international business, you'll be paying income tax if nothing else. Even if you get a GST cut or something, which is not the case, but you will at least pay income tax on it. What if you now set up a company in Qatar where the income tax rate is 0 and there is negligible VAT or no VAT, or in Dubai where there is 5% VAT? Before there was no service tax or GST or VAT or anything. Now there's 5% VAT and they have no income tax, right? Dubai was such a country where you did not even have any tax lawyers, anything, because they didn't have any tax, hardly any accountants. I mean, bookkeepers were there, but not the chartered accountant, and this profession wasn't even very doing well there. Why? Because they did not have any VAT or any tax at all, but now they have. So now what if you decide that I am going to set up an entity in Qatar or in Dubai or Bahrain, wherever, and I will run my operation from there? Is it illegal? It is not illegal. I can choose, or you can choose, that my business will be based out of there. You might be subject to higher costs because in Dubai things are more expensive. Hiring people in Dubai may be more expensive. Okay. But then you have another choice. You might decide that I'm going to run my business from Dubai, but I'm going to hire remote workers in Eastern Europe. Okay. Or some of them may be from Bangladesh, or some of them may be from Singapore or wherever, like, you also have a global talent pool now, remote workers, companies can function remotely. So, you are setting up in a place like that and your business is being run by remote workers, right? So then even if it can be done by local people only, doesn't matter. But the point is that in that case, you are not paying tax in India anymore. You're not paying GST anymore like you're paying in India. You're paying 5% VAT in Dubai, or no GST, no VAT in Qatar. You are not paying any income tax on the money you are getting there, right? Now, so you might choose to then shift to Dubai and run your business from there. Because if you run your business from India and you have an entity in Dubai, it will still be considered Indian. But if you are yourself in Dubai and you're running the business from there, and Dubai is also a great market for many businesses. So then you will get a local market also. You might want to do more business in the MENA region. MENA region is Middle East and North Africa. But you may choose not to park all this income in India and pay income tax in India, right? Is this illegal? No, it is not illegal. You're perfectly free to do this, right? So this is possible, and increasingly people are doing this. And same thing, like, why has Google parked its global income in Ireland? Okay. In fact, we'll be having another webinar down the line where we're going to explain how this is done. It's called a double Irish sandwich or something like, I forgot the name. Okay, then there's single malt, it's called single malt, like Malta and one more country. So there people have come up with creative ways to save taxes through international tax structuring. Okay, so even the biggest companies do that. In fact, in this US election, one of the agenda was this, that why are these companies, US companies, parking their earnings, parking their profits abroad in all these tax havens, right? Like Cayman Islands, in Ireland, Malta, Liechtenstein, right? And they are not bringing the money in US, because if they bring the money in US, they'll have to pay capital gains and other taxes, okay? Corporate income tax they'll have to pay. But because they are not bringing it, they are not paying any tax on it, it is outside US. And now there was a demand that Joe Biden will make a law to make these companies pay some tax on this foreign income which they're stashing abroad, okay? So, I mean, that remains to be seen whether that happens or not. But as of now, it was legal and they have been doing it. And Singapore, for instance, Singapore now is not, in Singapore, there is a VAT or GST, whatever you call it. There is a income tax, but income tax is lower than India. India, if you're paying 30%, there it is 20%, or some places take Ireland 10%, right? So the taxation is there, but it is lower, okay? And it is not just that, it is also a preferred gateway. If you want to do business in the Southeast Asia region, right, then Singapore is a natural choice. It's the natural choice to go set up your business there. If you want to do business in Middle East or in North Africa, people choose to set up their base in Dubai or Abu Dhabi for that. It's natural, right? So people make those choices. Now, what I want to tell you is that there are two kinds of tax havens. One are like notorious tax havens, okay, like Bermuda, like the British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, Samoa, Fiji. I mean, you don't have any reason to go and set up your business in British Virgin Island, right? Only to avoid taxes. That's a very different situation. But Dubai or Singapore is not the same. An Indian businessman may have very legitimate reasons to set up a company in Luxembourg, Dubai, Ireland, all these places. These are real economies, right? They are not just pretending. Some countries, they're Mauritius, they have no business except to create a tax haven so people will come there, right? So definitely, there are real economies and you have real reasons to go set up businesses there. This is preferable to, right? You don't want to create in these notorious places. Number one reason for that is blacklisting. Now think of what happened to Mauritius. All the companies which were relying on the Mauritius route to invest in India, they don't have the protection of the Mauritius route, right, anymore. So it changes, like the treaty gets rewritten and countries get blacklisted. A lot of countries like Cyprus and all, they have been blacklisted by European Union. Macau, So for example, we had a student in Macau who wanted to buy some courses from us, but receiving our money was so difficult. It's like our bank will not receive money from Macau because Macau is a blacklisted region. It's a Chinese region, former, former British territory. Like, and British, by the way, all the infamous tax havens around the world are British, by the way, right? The most financial jugglery has happened out of London, and they have created all these British Virgin Islands, Bermuda. They're all British territories, and they have used these territories strategically to create tax havens for their own purposes, right? And now, obviously, it has been created in such a way that businesses can avoid taxes in the future. So it is like that. But still, these countries later on get blacklisted, okay? And then there are negotiations that happen in between countries, and you don't know what will be the outcome of that. And there are some other problems also. If you are operating from such places, right? If you're operating out of Macau, you are not going to be able to do business freely internationally, because you are going to face a lot of scrutiny. Anywhere you go, if you're running a company out of British Virgin Islands and you are receiving online payment from around the world, it's not possible, because it is just, all payment gateways will also start scrutinizing you. Banks and everyone will scrutinize you, right? And you will be subject to a lot of problem, right? So you can't do business in peace operating from such notorious tax jurisdictions. If you are going to take a lot of money and dump there one-off, that's a different thing. But if you're going to run a business, a digital business from there in peace, it's not going to happen. Payments can get stuck because governments may order that hold this payment, we want to investigate this before releasing this. So these kind of things happen all the time, right? How did we receive payment from Macau? So I think we received from some payment app called Payoneer. Like, some app had the clearance, and the student was able to pay the money from that. It's a really one-off, right? It happened, like, we had only one student from there. It's not a regular thing. And whenever we receive money in our bank account, foreign payment, the bank will ask for a clarification that why did you receive this money, and we have to fill a form and give it to the bank that this is the purpose. But even before that, it's difficult. Even before, like, it comes to our bank, it hits our bank, then we have to do the paperwork and give declarations and all of that. But sometimes even before that, it gets stuck. So that is why it's problematic. Okay, so there can be political and economic instability. Okay, so sometimes there is, like, imagine that, there's one example I know. There's one submarine company which was set up in Dubai, and there was an investment of Dubai government. Basically, the Kingdom of Dubai had invested in it, and then when the company started doing badly, the founder was put in jail, right? And it's not a democracy. The things that are normal in other countries, it's not like that over there, right? And imagine that you have put like billions of dollars, or you're running a big business out of a small island country. There may be greedy people, government may create problems, somebody may extort money from you, you don't know what will happen in that country, really. Like in India, you can say we are a democracy, we have a certain laws, rules, Supreme Court, High Court. There is certain trust in the system. In US, there is high trust. In Europe, there's a high trust in the government. Can you trust a small government? You don't even know how, if tomorrow there may be an army coup, right? Army takes over the government, and all the laws are changed overnight. Or the economy collapses of that country, and with that your money vanishes. You never know, right, what happens. So you cannot risk those things. So it's not a good idea to go to a small island country because you are getting 0% tax. It may be a really bad business decision. Then there are leaks, like Panama Papers happened. And, even Amitabh Bachchan and Indian politicians, businessmen there. And, I don't see anybody has gone to jail for that, nor has any, I have not heard of any massive recovery of money because of that, or taxes or something like that. Probably these were legal anyway. People don't want to keep all their money in India. If I was very rich, I am not that rich, but if I was very rich, I may also want to fear that, why to put all my money in the same place? Some money I should put hidden away in some other place. It is possible. It is natural instinct of rich people. So you don't know what the reason was. But when Panama paper came out and this list of these account holders came out, there was automatic suspicion. Many countries started investigating those people, that what happened and all. It's an unnecessary disturbance, and businesses got involved in this. Their credibility was questioned. So you don't want to get into all this. There may be legal consequences if you cannot justify why you have money there, why you have not declared it, whatever, right? In 2008, Germany investigated a Liechtenstein banking trust that many citizens were using as a way to evade local taxes, right? The investigation was created from a local leak. So you ever, Panama paper was also a leak. So you never know, somebody in Panama paper, somebody working at a law firm released all the information. And then there's so many other situations like this. Laws in tax havens may be applied in an unequal fashion. That also, can you really trust the laws of, I mean, if you're really counting that they will not tell Indian government about my money there, can you trust? Tomorrow they might change their mind. Okay, some new person may be there who may think differently. And even if whatever law they have promised that there will be no estate tax. How do you know tomorrow they will not create an estate tax and tax you, right? And even if they have a law, they might say, no, for everyone is exempt, but on you, we will apply this law. You can't help it. It is like that in many places, right? These people faced in Bhutan, many people Indians who did business in Bhutan, owned properties in Bhutan. Sometimes the tax system will just say that, no, this is not the law, this is the law. And you're like, but here it is written in English, this is the law. And they'll say, no, in Bhutanese language, a different law is written. And what is written in his Bhutanese language is correct. The English translation is wrong. And you're like, but I relied on the English translation to take my business decision. But it's a kingdom. You can't really expect too much from them. Like, like you can, in India, it can be very different. Or in US, it will be very different. But courts will protect you. But I mean, you don't know if that will happen in a place like Bhutan or any other small country. Why digital businesses want to set up in tax havens and how their cases are unique? Very simple, guys. Digital businesses they have a choice of setting up wherever they want, right? Imagine, just think for a moment that you have built a software and I buy it from you and I'm going to sell it everywhere in the world. I have a website. From the website, people are buying things. Do I have to be in India? No. I can be anywhere in the world. Do I have to be in US? No. If people are buying my product, what is the problem? There may be business reasons to be in one place or the other place. But some countries are clever. They lower their tax rates so that they can attract people from outside, businesses from outside, to do business from there. For example, Dubai. Dubai is one exception in United Arab Emirates, right? Where all the other Emirates had oil. Dubai did not have it. So Dubai realized that we cannot rely on this oil economy. We have to be smart. We have to do something. So they decided to set up a financial center. So Dubai is a financial center. Dubai is rich because they did not have taxes. They created laws and rules and environment to attract foreign investors, foreign talent, foreign engineers, foreign entrepreneurs to come and do business there. Even today, we are making laws that cryptocurrencies are not allowed, right? Cryptocurrencies will illegal. It's illegal. RBI is chasing after cryptocurrency companies and blockchain companies. And now, today, most of Indian blockchain companies have gone out of India. All the blockchain developers, cryptocurrency companies have gone out of India. Where have they gone? In overwhelming number. Dubai has welcomed them. Dubai has created a city and said that all the blockchain companies from the world come here and work. For 6 months, we'll give you free office. We'll give you this benefit, that benefit. Come work from here. They are saying that our entire country will run on blockchain. Okay. And we will spend some $100 billion on blockchain technology. Come and create solutions for us. So they are trying to, by using these incentives, they are trying to attract global cryptocurrency, global blockchain businesses, because they realize that this could be the future of finance, right? So they create such laws. Australia has created such laws that, okay, if you're not dealing with our local people, you can come here and run a cryptocurrency company and we'll give you a license to run it. And companies from India, companies from all over the world are moving to Australia to run such businesses, right? So digital businesses can just move. If you are making it illegal for me to do this in India, I can go to another country and do it. If you are telling me that you pay high taxes here, I can move to another country which will not charge me as much taxes and do it from there. And you can't do anything about it, right? And it will be a loss of tax, but it will be done absolutely legally, and there is nothing anyone can do about this, right? So this is happening today, and digital businesses are unique, especially after remote work. It's a game changer. Nobody can stop you from doing this. And if your goal is not hiding money, it's not like you're trying to hide money and do some corruption. You can do it openly with an efficient tax structuring without hiding your intention. Very, very, very clear, legally, openly, you can do this. It is possible to do it very legally and above board. Absolutely no illegality involved. Better to opt for low tax jurisdictions like Google and Facebook chose Ireland to global HQ, right? So they did not go set it up in Curacao or British Virgin Islands or someplace like that, right? They set it up in Ireland, which is a good part of United Kingdom. It's a country which has good laws and good court system, everything. They considered everything and set it up over there. Many Indian companies have set up their international business headquarters in Singapore or Dubai, Qatar also now, and many other places, right? It could be Netherlands, Dubai, Singapore, Luxembourg, this kind of respectable countries. Good idea to opt for respectable tax jurisdictions with stable governments and a history of good governance. Okay, some of them have such laws that your international income is not taxable. Your local income is taxable, but international income is not taxable. So there are such laws. So you have to study that and decide what will work. We are going to have more workshops, by the way, on international expansion. So not only on tax havens, we are going to talk about other things like, why Indian businesses are going abroad, why they want to do business there. I have a workshop also coming up on this, right? So I'm going to talk about which countries are most attractive for Indian companies for international expansion, not for tax reasons, but for business reasons, to get a bigger market, to get more margin on what they're selling, right? To get more competitive with international businesses and so on, attract international talent. There's a lot, right? So this is on 7th February 2021 at 6 p.m., 6 to 9. It's a 3-hour workshop. So, and I'll be teaching you, I'm very excited about it. That is tomorrow actually. So I'm going to teach you, which are the countries which are most attractive and how people are moving to these countries, right? So this is what I'm thinking. So how many of you would like to attend this workshop on 7th February? Anybody wants to attend this? Tell me in the chat. Yes, no, maybe. Shaunak will be there. Okay. So you can register here. This is the Sudhir, you are already registered. Great, right? This is here. So please visit this. I'll share this link with all of you. Yep, here you go. Right. So back to the presentation. What is happening? Okay, so I have one more workshop. Okay, this page is not up, but I want you to book your time for this on 10th February. I'm going to tell you how to navigate the legal system of Dubai. For if you want to expand your business there, you want to set up a system, your country, your international, office there, right, in Dubai. You want to set up, and how to do it at 6 p.m. 10th of February. Is for lawyers but also for tech founders, CEOs, CFOs. I invite all of them to attend, and I'm going to tell you how to set up your business in Dubai. And I think this is the decade when Indian businesses will go international and have much bigger impact on the world, right? So definitely try to be there. Dubai is one of the exciting jurisdictions. Then I'm going to, on 15 February, I'll have another workshop on in-house counsels. This is for in-house counsels and corporate secretary CS people. What kind of legal skill and knowledge will make you an irresistible hire for global MNCs? And I'll have another workshop on how to make a career in international business law on 19th February. All these are 3-hour workshops. Try and be there. All right. So it'll be great. So is there any question that you guys have that I can answer, please tell me. If there's any question, I'll be happy to answer. Yep. No questions. Super. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this this discussion on international tax havens and why people are setting up their businesses in tax havens and how to do it right, how to not do it illegally and get into trouble. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. 𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗀 is saying, I am pursuing MBA finance from SIBM along with my CS executive. Great, great, awesome. Are there any companies which hire CS plus MBA finance students and provide good stipend? Yeah, there are. There are. You keep attending these webinars. I'm going to tell you how to approach, even US startups, US companies, Indian companies for doing remote work, doing remote freelance work, doing paralegal work, and so on. So if you attend those sessions, you will be able to understand how to do this right. And definitely, this is absolutely doable, 𝗀𝗃. Definitely register yourself on websites like Upwork and Fiverr and so on. And I'm going to also share one video with all of you, which you might be able to use. How to get internship from US startups. Okay, I'm going to share the video with you. Yeah, I found this. I'm sharing this with you so that you can go and actually, apply this in your life. So have you got access to the video? Have you got it? Tell me yes if you have received it, so I know you have got it. Okay, I've shared the link with all of you. Okay. All right, superb. See you then. I hope to see you tomorrow for the workshop. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.